A beautiful shot of downtown Denver from afar and now up close. Another pretty night at the ballpark. Hey, the Rockies looking for a sweep of the Houston Astros, and they may not see the Astros for quite some time because, as I'm sure you're aware, Houston heading to the American League beginning next season. And good evening, everybody. Glad you're along. As always, I'm Drew Goodman. Last night, the Rockies played a wonderful game offensively. They win 13-5, but a bit of bad news. Troy Tulowitzki pulled up late in the ball game, going to first base on a ground ball, and he pulled his left groin muscle. He's been battling this injury for a while. He had an MRI this afternoon, and though the injury is not severe, it is severe enough that the Rockies have placed him on the 15-day disabled list. Jim Tracy on the loss of his shortstop.
I also do not want to see us be in a position where Troy Tulowitzki has to go out and play baseball carefully, because I don't ever see that working worth a damn either. And so we're not going to go there either. This is the right thing to do. This is the best move to make.
A very emphatic Jim Tracy earlier. This is George Frazier, naturally. And George, I agree. It's got to be the right thing to do, because whenever you have groin issue, back of the leg injury, hamstring, calf, look what happened to Matt Kemp. The moment you think it feels good, you pull it again. Dodgers are going to lose Kemp for quite some time now.
Well, it's no different really than a pitcher saying my shoulder's a little sore. You don't pitch him. It's the same thing here. But this really kind of tells you what he means to this organization. 709 games with him. Look at that record. 363, 346. And then without him, 69 and 82. Obviously, the win percentage much better. You got to have him in your lineup to be successful, but you don't want to have a half Tulowitzki. And the other side of this for me is, they say play the game not as hard to prevent it. With Gonzalez running into walls, all those kind of things. They don't know how to play that way. They're going to play hard every single time, and it's better to have him 100% healthy, ready to go in a ball game. Now you're going to have to look to some other guys in the lineup to do the damage.
Yeah, you can't protect a leg injury because, yeah, you can go through things in pregame, but the moment the adrenaline is rushing and there's a ball in a hole, you're going to make an explosive move, and that's when you could have a more severe injury. So Troy is on the DL for 15 days. Marco Scudero will be at shortstop. Hey, this guy, he was really good last night. We'll talk some more about Cinco when we come back.
Night last night. Pretty good night. 4 for 5. 3 homers in his last 3 at-bats against Houston. Welcome back inside. Mark Stout. Carlos Gonzalez is having a killer May, and last night was a big reason for that. Take a look. He had back-to-back homers. You see how many other times that has happened. Keep an eye on him as he has his first AB today. Could he get 4 straight home runs? I asked him last night after the game if he's doing anything different at the plate because he's so hot.
I'm not trying to do anything special at the plate. I'm just trying to put the ball in play. It's been working for me since day one, and I'm not going to change. I'm just trying to create situations, like I said earlier, be on base for my guys. I got great hitters behind me, and if they pitch me around the strike, so I'm going to be able to put a good swing, and that's what's happening. I don't even know what to say.
His manager said it's all about plate discipline. He's getting in good counts, and he is doing damage. Here's what I have to say. You can vote for Carlos Gonzalez to be a part of the All-Star game this year. He has not been an All-Star. A lot of people think he has. He is deserving to be in Kansas City this year. Baseball is coming up as the Rockies go for the sweep against the Houston Astros, trying to wrap up the month of May on a high note. Baseball comes your way next on Root Sports.
Jeremy Guthrie is ready to go, and thus we are as well. The Rockies and Astros. The Rockies have won the first 3 games of this 4-game set. Jordan Schaefer steps in, and the first pitch misses inside, ball 1. Jordan Schaefer hitting .264 in his first full season with the Houston Astros. Rockies shade him a little bit toward left center field, and that pitch is off the plate away, so it's 2-0. Guthrie 2-3, a 5.31 ERA. Lost in his last outing in Cincinnati. Gave up 6 runs, 2 of them earned, 10 hits, struck out 5 and walked 1. Guthrie may have thrown Georgia's best game against the Astros in his first appearance as a Rocky.
Well, it's absolutely right. I mean, he did a great job. 7 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs, one of those on a home run. This ball's driven to right. Kadire with a play in left.
And that ball was scalded to right center field. Nice play by Michael Kadire. Schaefer looking over his shoulder saying, man, I thought I got that. Let's take a look at the rest of the Southwest batting order for Brad Mills. Jose Altuve had 3 hits last night. He's got the average up to .309. That leads the Astros. Then Jed Lowry, Carlos Lee, Chris Johnston will bat 5th tonight. Brian Bogusevic's back in there against the righty. JD Martinez, Jason Castro behind the plate. He's a left-handed bat. And then the pitcher, Bud Norris. Altuve takes away ball 1.
Well, one of the things kind of jumps out at you with Guthrie. 68 career losses, 36 in his home ballpark. This year at Coors Field, 0-2, 992 earned run average. 8th start of the season for him. Drew mentioned the record, the earned run average. Defeated the Astros. Talked a little bit about that. So it's 4th attempt to get that 50th win in his career.
Nice pickup by Jordan Pacheco, and they'll throw out Altuve. Made that play a little easier than it looked. In between hop. 2 gone. Jed Lowry coming up. Rockies defensively. Cargo, Dexter, and Cuddy. Michael Kadire in left field, in right field. Pacheco with Scutero playing short for Tulowitzki. DJ LeMahieu will get a lot of time at second. Helton at first, and Willeen Rosario's doing the catching tonight. So with 2 outs and nobody on, Lowry, former Boston Red Sox, he takes ball 1. He's talking to Bobby Meacham, first base coach, good infielder in his day, about Lowry, and he says he does everything right. He is as professional as they come. Great work ethic. So you make a mistake, he can hit it over the wall. He's got 8 home runs. Don't see this too much anymore, George. An extreme closed stance. Back when you were playing, you saw it, but now guys are more open.
Yeah, the whole open thing, I think it's just more to make when you come forward, you stay a little more closed with it. But you can see here, most guys are either on line or they're a little bit back this way with their stance. He's got not only a closed stance, also a closed front foot. He's tied with Desmond, Tulo, and Lowry, all 8 home runs, leads the National League with those 8 home runs. Cozart with 5.
Here's the 3-1, and that ball is laced to right field. Kadire will fire it back in. Carlos Lee coming up, and in start number 1, Jeremy Guthrie went 7 innings at Minute Maid Park. He gave up 3 runs on just 4 hits.
A lot of defensive swings on that hard sinker down and in. Nothing hit particularly hard. See a lot of those ground ball outs going to the right side off of right-handers. The ball got in on them in a hurry.
Now Carlos Lee takes a breaking ball for a strike. Congratulations to El Caballo tonight, George. Game number 2,000 in his career. That's a lot of times picking up the lumber for Carlos Lee.
Very productive career.
1-1. That's not there. 2-1. Lee has 2,183 hits. That's 180th all time. He has 353 home runs, 81st. 1,309 driven in. That's 99th. Slider for a strike.
Difference in a veteran pitcher than, say, a young pitcher is the ability to throw a breaking ball behind in the count. Exactly what Guthrie did to even it at 2-2.
Lee's had good swings against Guthrie. 3 for 7, 2 home runs, lifetime. He is very difficult to strike out. How difficult? He is the toughest man in baseball to strike out, and it's not, you know, an aberration of sorts this year. He typically, for a big strong guy, he doesn't strike out.
Wide stance, pretty quiet everywhere else. Here's the base hit past Helton to right field.
And on the 3-2 pitch, Lowry's moving, so he'll walk to third. First and third with 2 outs. Chris Johnson will come up. Well, that was a pretty good 2-strike approach right there.
Well, the wide stance really keeps his hands quiet, head still, able to take that pretty well. There's what Drew's talking about, strikeout ratio. Scutero also on that list is number 2. Jose Reyes, Polanco.
Yeah, I mean, Polanco, you'd figure Scudero definitely. Brian McCann, that surprised you a little bit because these are guys that hit the ball over the wall a little while, occasionally.
Yeah, exactly. They're not the guys that hit number 2 in the lineup most of the time.
No, and Lee obviously earlier in his career hit the ball over the wall a ton.
41, I think, a career high for Lee in home runs.
Got to get Chris Johnson if you're Guthrie, and he misses ball 1. George, this is a huge start for Guthrie because, quite honestly, he has not been the guy the Rockies had hoped so far to anchor that rotation.
Well, 3 out of the first 4 starts, you could say, were pretty good starts.
Deep right, but playable. And there's the 3rd out. More on that topic in an inning or so. Rockies getting ready with the lumber. They were terrific last night. Colorado Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by your neighborhood Toyota stores. Toyota moving forward. By CenturyLink, fast speed and a low monthly price. Visit CenturyLink.com. And by Southwest Airlines, find our fares online only at Southwest.com. A view from Golden and now inside Coors Field. Drew Goodman, George Frazier, and Mark Stout. The Rockies will begin with Dexter Fowler, and he has had a terrific week. 7 for 9 in the doubleheader on Monday, and then last night 2 hits and 5 plate appearances, including a double and a run scored, and then a 3-run home run in the 6th. He had up his last 4 ball games. He's 10 for 15, 3 home runs, 7 ribbies, 8 runs scored, and he's slugging .467.
But he's got a tough matchup today because Bud Norris has thrown the ball as good as anybody in baseball in the month of May. He's 4-1 in the month of May. And looking at his record overall right now at 5-1. It's 11th start of the year, 334 earned run average. You see what the ERA was in May. The best, 1.17 ERA. It's not that his fastball is overpowering, but his command is. 62 strikeouts, tied for 10th in the National League.
He's always struck out, George, pretty close to a hitter an inning. Here's the 2-1. That's inside. 4-pitch mix, and he'll throw that slider in any count. That's his go-to pitch.
Well, his last start, 4 2/3, 8 hits, 116 pitches thrown. He lost that ball game against the Dodgers. 8 hits, 3 runs. He walked 4, which is unusual for him. And here's a leadoff walk to Dexter Fowler.
So Dexter reaches, and here is the Southwest batting order for Jim Tracy. Sans, Troy Tulowitzki. He'll have Scudero batting second. Cargo naturally next. Kadire has done it before, 5 of 13 this year in the cleanup spot. Todd Helton. Willeen Rosario slides up to the 6th spot. Then Pacheco, DJ LeMahieu, Jeremy Guthrie. Marco's a guy that handles the bat well. We showed you and talked about it throughout the year. He doesn't strike out much. Ideal spot for him, the 2-hole. Dexter's got 4 stolen bases this year. He has not been caught.
Good guy to steal against too. Castro 2 for 25 coming into this ball game.
Yeah, they've struggled even with Chris Snyder behind the plate to throw guys out.
Castro was a first-round draft pick out of Stanford. He tore up his knee last year. Had to sit out the entire year. Basically, the Arizona Fall League was his only preparation for the start of this year. It was his job at the big league level a year ago when he got hurt.
And it's bounced foul, 0-2. Clouded up a little bit around the ballpark. Beautiful afternoon during batting practice. Couldn't ask for more ideal weather. Cargo waiting. He's on deck. 2-strike count on Scudero. Now it's 1-2. See if Dexter, who's seen Norris's move, looks to run. That is a base hit, left center field. Dexter will cut the bag, go to third. First and third, nobody out. Let's check the gloves for the Astros tonight. In the outfield, J.D. Martinez, Jordan Schaefer, and in right, Brian Bogasevic. Chris Johnson, Jed Lowry left side, Altuve and Lee on the right side. Castro, as we have discussed, is doing the catching. So you have good wheels on base, and you have a guy who's hit a home run in each of his last 3 ABs coming up.
Well, I was getting ready to say, if he swings it like he did last night, speed's not really going to matter.
As long as you can jog.
You just got to be able to jog faster than he's jogging.
Right. Don't let him pass you. And that pitch is ball 1. Carlos Gonzalez, 13th time in team history that a guy's hit 3 in a ball game. 6th time that it's happened in consecutive at bats. And he has 4 multi-home run games this season. That's the most in baseball. Here's the 1-0. This ball is well hit left center field. It's got a chance way back and gone. How about that? 4 ABs, 4 bombs, 3-0 Colorado. Are you kidding me?
He's starting to put on a show like Hamilton did in Texas for about a month and still putting it on. Wowee. I was just joking that they didn't have to run real fast with the speed.
You were right.
You know what? Pretty amazing. Man, that's amazing to watch. Power to all fields. Yeah, I'd scratch my head too, Jordan. I mean, can you believe this, what I'm seeing? Well, fastball elevated up out over the plate, and he just goes out and gets it and uses that strength of his. When it left the bat, I think he felt like, you know what, I got this good enough, and it was just over the rise of the left field wall.
He's now in the Rockies record book by himself. A home run in 4 straight at bats. He's going to be in a lot of record books before his career's over. Michael Kadire says, hey, I'm going to fire at the first pitch as well. Base hit, center field, a walk, a single, a 3-run bomb, and the Rockies are cranking it up again.
So Bud Norris, how's that 1.17 ERA in the month of May now?
Gone.
He just got blew up pretty good. Well, the Mike Shaw Subaru Supermo will really give you an example. Look at that concentration of the eyes. That's the one thing that gets me about Cargo. I mean, his eyes stay on a pitch long time into that strike zone.
Helton at the plate, takes low. George, think about this. I asked him before the ball game, I said, which one of the 3 did you hit last night the best? Because all 3 were monstrosities. He said the first one to center on a changeup, he got that the best. He hit one off the facade of the second deck. This ball's launched left center field, and that is out of the reach of Martinez. Kadire around third. He'll score easily. Todd into second base with an RBI double, number 562 of his career. You want to talk about an ambush.
Might want to call time and go out and visit a minute. Doug Brocall's just going to do just that.
They need the full timeout, not the 20.
Yeah, no kidding. Todd Helton has been fighting what a mini slump. Some balls have been hit hard. Not today. Really worked. Just keeping that back elbow tight to the body, not to let it get too far away from the body where he starts to get a huge uppercut. He just lasered this thing out over the head in left field. The chase was on.
To finish that story, George, on Cargo, think about this. He hit two basically to center. He hit one to right field off the facade of the second deck, and he just took one out to left field. It doesn't matter when he's where he is right now, where you pitch him.
You know what? There's two power guys right now in the game that really excite me. One of them's Josh Hamilton, the other one Carlos Gonzalez. And if you watch Josh Hamilton, it's power everywhere. You watch Cargo, power everywhere. A lot of the big power guys, even Barry Bonds, dead pull. You know, McGuire, dead pull. Sosa, dead pull. And I think that's the thing that's so impressive is his power. There's not a fence line in the ballpark that can hold it.
Michael Kadire was asked about playing in Coors Field now, coming from Target Field, where it was very difficult to hit home runs, and he said, this is a great offensive ballpark, clearly. He said, and the ball will go out, we all know that. He said, but it's not as great a home run park as people make it out to be. It is a great offensive park. He said there's a ton of singles, doubles, and triples here.
Well, it's the
but you have to hit them to hit them out. They're no cheapies anymore.
It's the gaps. That's what makes this such an offensive ballpark. All the gaps are so big, and when you try to pinch into the middle, you pull the ball down the lines, you can run forever.
1-2 on Rosario. Nobody out. Now there's one. Now bring up Jordan Pacheco. Who wants tacos? They may be coming again. Remember, if the Rockies score 7 or more during any game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day. Do it between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special. Hopefully you did this afternoon. After the 13-run uprising last night, Cargo has got you on your way to Taco Bell again tomorrow. 4-0 Colorado. Outside on Pacheco. So the Rockies recalled Chris Nelson, with Troy Tulowitzki being placed on the disabled list. And your lineup at shortstop, George, would be Scudero, and if Scudero were to get a day, the next in line would be Nelson. Third in line would be LeMahieu. Here's the roster move again. Tulowitzki, if you're just joining us, they want to make sure that that groin injury heals up properly. So Tulowitzki was placed on the shelf for 15 days minimum. Chris Nelson reinstated. Helton at second, 2-0 count on Pacheco. Last night, Troy on a ground ball pulled up. He has battled leg injuries, quadricep, hip flexor, groin injuries throughout his career. He has spent 95 days on the disabled list in his still young career. And it will be at least 15 more. This ball's well hit to center field. Schaefer's got a long run, and he can't get there. And it bounces out of play, a ground rule double. Helton will score the Rockies' 5th run of the first. All of this against the guy who had the lowest ERA in the month of May of any starter in baseball. Jordan Pacheco just keeps on raking.
A lot of extra base hits in this game. Home runs, doubles, a couple of them, and RBIs flying everywhere. Pacheco gets the ball up in the strike zone. Tried to crowd the hands, didn't work. Pacheco so much more calm at home plate now as well as at third base, and you're seeing the results of a young man that doesn't strike out a lot and can drive in runs when the opportunity presents itself.
Here's a pretty good hitter in his own right, trying to establish himself at the major league level. Pacheco takes off for third, and he's in there with a bag. Bud Norris fell asleep, George.
Second stolen base for Pacheco, and with one out, why not? Try to add it on a little bit for LeMahieu to get a ball airborne. You already have a 5-0 lead. Huge jump because Pacheco took off. So the minute he looked to the home plate area, there was no secondary look back to the bag to hold Pacheco. Middle infielders stayed pretty much defensively where they were. They're going to have to pull the infield in and try to control some damage here. It's 5-0 Rockies.
LeMahieu, one hit since being called up. It was an RBI double on Monday.
How about this offense coming into tonight during this series? 357 average, 29 runs scored, 8 home runs, 7 doubles, 2 triples, 9.7 runs per game in this series. Wow.
And they already have 5 in this game. 2 balls and a strike. Brad Mills, familiar with baseball at altitude. He managed at Colorado Springs. Mayhew fouls that off, 2-2. DJ spent 2 years at LSU before going in the second round of the Cubs. Big strikeout for Norris, because now with 2 outs, the pitcher Guthrie coming up. Guthrie without a hit this year. Well, now there's some concern that Norris may have hurt himself.
Tim Timmons, the home plate umpire, pretty good conversation there. And, you know, if this is the case, this could be a huge loss. He's obviously been leading everything that's going on.
Their rotation, George, has been really solid with Wandy Rodriguez, Bud Norris. Talked about what he's done in May. Lucas Harrell last night aside. And the bullpen has been the 3rd best bullpen in the National League so far this year. It's interesting because Doug Brocail's out there, obviously, George, but he's engaged in a conversation with Carlos Lee. I don't even know he's watching Norris throw his warm-up pitch.
Well, Norris is the guy that's going to turn around and say something, and he's done. If he's any kind of chance for an injury here, that he would take him out of the ball game. But obviously, well, he's told him, you know what, I'm going to gut this out and try to get this last out and get through this inning. But it may be the last one you see of it.
Guthrie bounces one toward Altuve. He'll set his feet. And the Rockies are done finally in the first inning. What a first inning. Highlighted by Carlos Gonzalez's 3-run home run. 4 home runs in his last 4 at-bats. Rockies hit around. They put a 5 spot up in the first on Bud Norris. For the second inning, Brian Bogusevic will lead it off against Jeremy Guthrie. I don't know what's brighter, the sun or that man's star. 4 swings, 4 home runs for Carlos Gonzalez. It ties a major league record. Listen to some of the names. It's happened 38 times that a guy has hit a home run in 4 consecutive at-bats. Ralph Kiner, the Hall of Famer, did it twice. Stan Musial's on the list. Johnny Bench, Mike Schmidt, 2 times for Schmidt. Barry Bonds, believe it or not, Benito Santiago's on the list, Frazier. Sean Green, and that was over 2 days. He had 4 home runs in a game, most people recall, but he hit another one the next day in his first at bat. So it was actually over 2 days for Green. The 4 in a game didn't come in consecutive at bats. Pujols has done it. Lou Gehrig, Jimmy Fox, Hank Greenberg, Ted Williams, Mickey Mantle, Don Baylor, Bo Jackson.
All those names you're missing with the exception of a few are Hall of Fame guys.
Exactly. And now add the name Carlos Gonzalez to that list, along with Josh Hamilton from earlier this year. I asked Cargo today, I said, you ever hit a 3 in a game at any level? He said, I think back in Little League in Venezuela. 2 balls and a strike on Bogusevic. Ground ball deep in the hole. Nice pickup by Scudero. And they get Bogusevic.
That was interesting in the infield warm-ups in between the innings. Todd Helton actually was having Jordan Pacheco bounce the ball to first because the sun is so bad right now as far as picking the ball up. So really the danger area as far as seeing the baseball more at third than it is at short.
What a weird feeling for Pacheco if a ground ball comes his way to intentionally throw the ball in the ground.
And he threw 4 in a row. This is going to be popped up. Not sure it's going to come back. It won't.
One from Guthrie in the air to pretty deep right field. The Dyer's going to watch this one sail out. J.D. Martinez has got opposite field. It's 5-1. And Jeremy Guthrie, who throws a sinker good portion of the time, George, has now given up 13 home runs this year. Excuse me, 10 home runs. Let me correct that.
Yeah, he gave up 4 in the month of April and 9 here. So I mean that's the difference with you with Guthrie and the home run mark. Ball out over the plate. Strong guy at the plate. Took advantage of the mistake in the location. 10 total home runs given up and another base hit to right field.
It's 4 hits for the Astros.
I will say this about this Astro ball club. I mean, Castro with that base hit. They haven't given up in this series. I mean, they keep swinging the bats. Their pitching has not held up, but they do keep swinging the bats. Mike Barnett, the longtime hitting coach that worked under Walt Reniak with the Chicago White Sox, got his career started as a Yankee bullpen coach in AAA. There, Mike's hiding behind a bar right now. Don't want to be seen. But has worked his way with Kansas City. He's worked also with Houston here for a few years.
Well, last night the Rockies went 13-5. That's an 8-run victory. Yet they were out hit by the Astros 15-14. They're up 5-1 now. The Rockies have 5 hits. The Astros, as I mentioned, have already thrown out 4 hits. Norris gets the bunt down. It's a good one. And I don't know why Guthrie didn't just turn and tag. 2 outs. And that'll bring up Schaefer. After watching the Rockies on Sunday, stick around for Rockies Weekly with Jim Tracy. Every week, look for the keyword during the show. Text it to 720-720 for a chance to receive prizes. We'll hear from the skipper naturally, and you could win a pair of tickets by watching Rockies Weekly with Jim Tracy this Sunday on Root Sports. Jordan Schaefer drove the ball to deep right center field his first time up. Nice running catch by Michael Kadire. Okay, Brad Mills has managed in this environment many times. So he's saying, all right, 5 runs in the first. We have 8 innings to chip away. They've already put 1 up. You get a hit here. More than likely, it's a second run.
Worst thing you can do as a team is start trying to swing and get 5 runs with that one swing, hit the ball out of the ballpark.
LeMahieu throws out Schaefer. Home run by Martinez. 5-1 Colorado.
because of the weather and because of the score. The Rockies up 5-1 as we head here to the bottom of the second. I want to show you some Carlos Gonzalez stats. It's kind of a fluid thing with him because they change every time he comes to the plate. This is how consistent he has been to this point in the season the last 3 years. You see his numbers in 2010 and 2011, similar except for the batting average. But here in 2012, he has taken it to a whole new level. After that first at bat, 14 home runs already. That's double what he's had to this point in the season the last couple of years. And we're at game 50. And Drew George, it's just fun to watch. I don't know what else to say.
He's a remarkable talent, a special player. We talk about 5 tools, and very rarely does a player who has that kind of ability bring those tools every single ball game. And most nights he has them all on display. This is a guy 2 years ago, George, that top 3 in the National League MVP race, but was voted as by his peers as the Major League Player of the Year.
Does that surprise you?
No.
I mean, that shows you what players appreciate, being able to watch this guy play on a nightly basis, what he accomplishes, how he goes about his business at the game. I just think that's a huge compliment when your peers start to talk about you in that fashion.
And the other thing, we're fortunate to see him play every day. We're also, I know you'll concur with this, George, fortunate to be around him every day because he's a great kid.
Yeah, he's a good kid, good teammate, good guy to have around in the locker room. A lot of times when the kids at that age assume that kind of responsibility or that kind of a contract to make that kind of money, they change an awful lot. Now, he did go through a period there where he changed a little bit, and the money part of it was tough to handle. But he worked way through that, did pretty well with it.
Top of the order in the second after the Rockies hit around in a 5-run uprising in the first. 3-2 on Fowler. He began the rally by walking. And he'll walk again here to lead off the second.
I don't know how to tell you this, Bud, but the last time it started like this, it didn't have a happy ending.
Nope. Marcos Scudero hit a floater to left center field for a base hit. First time through, that's not the kind of line you want to have.
Well, if you haven't noticed, the Dodgers, they're going to be here this weekend, so make sure you go down and get your tickets for that June 1st, 2nd, and 3rd over the weekend. The National League West rivals. There's a lot of ways to do that, folks. 1-800-388-ROCK. Go to Coors Field, the Dugout Stores, King Supers, or just ColoradoRockies.com from the comfort of the computer.
Snap throw to first. Castro, I think, slipped. He didn't get a lot on that. One on Marco. There goes Dexter, and it's a ground ball fair to third. Johnson will throw out Scudero. So Fowler in scoring position for Cargo with first base open. Just the way he's going right now, you start thinking, well, you just pass on him if you're Brad Mills. First inning, or Coors Light cold hard blast. Cargo with his 4th home run in as many at-bats going back to last night. Castro has looked in the dugout. And he's going to get in the squat position. We'll see how serious they are about this right now. You can tell pretty early. Ball 1. Both Jim Tracy and Carney Lansford were talking afterward about the difference for Cargo is pitch recognition, that he is swinging at strikes. and getting himself in more offensive counts because of that. Pick play, daylight play, and Dexter dives back in. He's not a hitter that's ever played this game that isn't better 2-0, 3-1 than 0-2, 1-2.
Well, that's the biggest key to it. You know, when you do get ahead of him, he gives you a chance. You can throw the breaking ball in the dirt. He'll chase the changeup, high fastball.
2-0.
You know, here's what Drew's talking about. Ahead in the count, 444. Behind in the count, 183. Big difference.
Well, they'll just go. You see, they weren't super serious. They were going to see if he chased. Now they're going to put him on.
Well, I looked down there earlier, and I saw Brad Mills look out. And he basically gave it, the option was to Bud Norris on the first couple of pitches. He just looked at you, and he kind of pointed with double fingers. You want to send him to first base. Norris shook his head, and he pitched to him. When he fell behind 2-0, he took it out of his control and decided, no, not going to do it. Not the.
Jim Tracy tells a great story about Barry Bonds in his prime facing Eric Gagne in the 9th inning with a man on, and the Dodgers, when he was the skipper of the Dodgers, had a 3-run lead. Gagne looked over there, and Tracy, there's another pick, and they got him. No, I thought they had him. Jose Altuve thought they had him. Brad Mills thought they had him. And now he's going to go out and argue with Eric Cooper. They did have him.
Yeah, I think they did. The ball beats Dexter there by quite a bit, folks. You can see that. I mean, he's 2 to 3 feet away from it. The shortstop did the earlier pick. Now it's the second baseman. If he gets the tag up on that shoulder before the hand hits, he's out.
That's a bad call. Just missed it. Rockies, hopefully, will take advantage of that break. Anyhow, he had passed on Bonds in every situation where Bonds could hurt the Dodgers. He figured, well, he can't hit a 3-run home run with only one guy on base. So Gagne gets ahead 1-2, George. Dyer fouls this off and throws, after a couple of 100-mile-an-hour fastballs, throws that big 68-mile-an-hour curveball. Locked up Bonds, but the pitch was called a ball. Trey said, I took a long walk in that dugout because I knew what was coming here. It was mano a mano, 10 straight pitches, all at 99 or better. He fouled them all off until the 11th one he hit over the center field wall. This goes into right field by Castro, and Dexter will stop at third after a wide turn. 2 in scoring position for Kadire.
Third error of the season on Castro. Once again, his foot slipped in the area right where he did previously on that earlier throw. This ball club trying to say, watch the left foot, see how to hit on the ball and then out to the heel. Made him work uphill, and then he tried to get the throw on target. Right here you'll see it. Right there, that foot slipped again on some loose stuff. Didn't have good footing at all. The ball goes into right field.
They've tried to pick Fowler off 2 or 3 times. They've had 2 snap throws from Castro. And now the Rockies have runners at second and third. Kadire with 32 RBIs. He had the grand slam earlier in the game yesterday. And this is a gapper to right center field. It will score 2. Kadire on his way to second with a 2-run double. The cutting man can. 7-1. And we've got early tacos. Make your way to Taco Bell tomorrow between 4 and 6. The Rockies have hit that magic number once again.
Kadire, 22 RBIs in 27 ball games in the month of May. Tells you what kind of production he's got working. Slider down and away from him. Let him extend those arms. Didn't pull the baseball because of lack of speed. Just went with the pitch and the location.
Help. Bud Norris isn't long for this game the way things are going.
And nor should he be. You know, that's this is your ace. This is your best pitcher. He's getting beat up in a ball game. It's not working. Go to your bullpen. Reiner Cruz has started to get loose down in the bullpen for the Houston Astros. Last night, Derek Collin went an inning and 2/3, gave up 8 runs for the Houston Astros. Texas Rangers in that 21-7 baseball game in Texas.
Justin Smoke had 2 3-run home runs for the Mariners.
That was against his former team. He came in at part of the Cliff Lee trade. Blake Bevan got the win of the ball game. Blake Bevan. He was the pitcher also included in that trade.
Two-strike count on Todd. Hits it a long way foul to left. I asked Helton today, George. Larry Walker, Carlos Gonzalez. Ooh, that's tough. He said both could run, both could throw, both hit for average, both hit the ball out of the ballpark. You know how much respect Todd has for Larry Walker's ability. Pop up to shallow right. Altuve waving his arms. He's got it. Second out of the inning, and they'll bring up Rosario.
I think I'd rather just take them both and not have to pick.
You don't have to pick, right? Coming up tonight in the 6th inning, Toyota Talk. Join in on the conversation. Text Toyota to 720-720. And as always, you learn how to win a $500 gas card. Rosario struck out last inning. He was the first out after 5 straight had reached to begin the ball game against Bud Norris.
Rosario struck out earlier, all sliders. Not going to give him a fastball to hit. It's kind of going to be the theme around the league now until he's being able to handle that. They throw in the fastball, though. You saw the results, 3 for 9 in the series.
Got locked up there. Dyer doubled in 2 for Michael. His 17th double of the year. He's among the league leaders in that department. Punch to right. Good job of adjusting by Rosario. He's going to drive in Dyer. Well, he went to the well one time too many.
You know what? I honestly thought the pitch prior to that was a hanging slider that was a little bit better to pitch to hit. This pitch was probably one of the better sliders Norris had thrown off the plate, down out of the strike zone. Just really credit Rosario with making a good swing on this ball. So this ball's off of the plate almost 6 to 8 inches when he made contact with it. Because he's strong enough that he puts enough velocity on a ball, even when totally fooled, he's able to keep it fair.
That's going to be the end of the night for Bud Norris. This will be a night that he'd like to push to lead on as quickly as possible. Inning in 2/3, 8 runs, 7 hits, responsible for Rosario at first. look at the road ahead, powered by your Colorado Hyundai dealer. Step up to the plate, get more miles per gallon with the hottest car line in America, Hyundai. Dodgers come to town tomorrow. We're on the air at 6 o'clock. Saturday, we begin things with the pregame show at 1:30. Sunday at 12:30 with the Dodgers. This season, save responsibly when you shop at your Colorado Hyundai dealers. Check it out at coloradohyundai.com. Now the Rockies just 12-14 at home this year. They want to turn that around dramatically, and they're in the process again tonight. They're up 8-1. Reiner Cruz with 2 outs will face Jordan Pacheco, who had an RBI double to dead center field an inning ago. Rosario at first.
They're just hoping you can buy about 2 or 3 innings from Cruz in this game. A hard-throwing right-hander, Rule 5 pick.
He had a rough ride last night. He faced 2 hitters last night. Dexter Fowler hit a 3-run home run off him. And that's 6-run 6. Marco Scutaro followed with a base hit. Way outside, it's 2-0. Brad Mills had to take Norris out twofold in nature. One, he wasn't retiring anybody, and 2, you can't, even though you don't want to go to your bullpen for 6-7 innings, you can't allow a guy to take that kind of beating who's been so good for you to begin with.
He's your #1 starter. You don't want him to do that. Stand out there and throw 40 pitches and get your brains beat in, get him out of the game. Did the right thing. Went and got him as soon as possible. He was kind of hoping after he gave up 5 that might be the end of it. They put 1 on the board in the top of the second, but the Rockies have answered with 3 here in the bottom of the second.
Three and 1 on Jordan. Pacheco, since taking over as the everyday third baseman on May 15, 16 days ago, has hit .333, a home run. He's driven in 11. Scored 10 runs, 5 doubles. There goes Rosario. It's a strike. Throw to second. They're not going to get him. This kid loves to play, George. He loves every aspect of the game, and he likes people to know that he can run.
First stolen base for him this year. He was 0 for 2 prior to that. He takes off here on a 3-1 pitch. Gets into second base safely.
Two on Pacheco. And Jordan drives into center field. This will drop. And the throw from Schaefer is on line, but here's no tag. Safe at the plate. Rosario with the 9th run. Pacheco moves up to second. He has 2 ribbies tonight. How big was that bag?
Adding on now, a 9-1 ball game. You know, when you're starting to feel good offensively, you just want to keep it going as long as you can. This is just high fastball. Pacheco fights this thing off, but dumps it into the outfield and right field. And then it's just another run to the races then. Rosario with 2 outs on a big break here coming into the plate. Ball bounces out in front of the plate. The ball wasn't hit very hard to center field. Good job.
DJ LeMahieu struck out last inning. Takes a big hack there to 95-mile-an-hour fastball, 0-1. And Castro can't handle that. Pacheco to third. When you have long innings in the field, the Rockies have seen their fair share this year. You start getting plays like that on defense.
Young kid, Rule 5 kid, had pitched out of A-ball on the mound now with Reiner Cruz, so you can't guarantee he's going to hit the spot. Obviously it didn't there, and it just ricocheted out of the glove of Castro and away from him 4 or 5 feet and allowed Pacheco to move up.
Scored a wild pitch. Mayhew at the time of his call-up was hitting .315 in Colorado Springs, a home run and 26 ribbies. 8 doubles, pair of triples. 1-2. And this is to shallow right. Bogusevic will make the catch. So the Rockies set 9 in the first inning to the plate, get 5 runs. In the second, 8 and 4. The offense is emerging. 9-1. The top of the third inning. They've now scored 38 runs in this series. AT&T trivia question. The Rockies have 4 grand slams this season. 2 by that man, Michael Kadire. What's Colorado's single season record for grand slams? A footnote. It wasn't said last year. They had only 1 last year. Pitchers want to be hitters. Fielders want to be pitchers. Kadire warming up between innings. Working on his slider, changeup. See him out there?
Having fun.
Yeah. Who had the best knuckleball, George, of position players that you played with? Because everybody has one. Some are ugly.
You know who really had?
Guthrie gives up a fly ball from Altuve to deep left, tracked down by Gonzalez.
He's got power, but I'm glad it was Altuve that got to swing on that baseball. Guthrie has had to sit in the dugout quite a bit tonight. This game's an hour old right now, and he's only got to pitch 2 innings. Best knuckleball, you know what? Gene Michaels.
Did he? The stick?
Yep, stick had a great one. Scary one. He could throw it overhand, he could throw it underhand.
I'm trying to think with the Rockies. Somebody.
Castilla's got a pretty good one. Vinny
has a good one?
Yeah, Vinny's got a pretty good one.
I'll ask him to demonstrate that tomorrow. Jed Lowry singled sharply to right his first time up. He takes a strike. Home plate umpire tonight, by the way, is Tim Timmons. Jeff Kellogg, the crew chief at first. Eric Cooper at second. Marty Foster at third.
One of the better arms in the Rockies clubhouse is Keith Duggar.
This ball down the left field line, and it is fair, and it skips over the wall. A ground rule double for Lowry.
Another guy's got a pretty good arm down in the locker room too. That doesn't play anymore, but he's in the Baseball Hall of Fame. Is Keith Schultz. He's in the Metro State Hall of Fame.
Schultz was a shortstop at Metro. This ball's well hit.
Very well hit on a fastball away. And I tell you what, when you're in this mode where you're still trying to get a little bit loose in this deal and you're going to challenge guys with fastballs, it's really important that you stay to your game plan. Mix in the breaking balls, mix in the changeups. We've mentioned this team's got a little fight in it. And it's not just going to lay down because they're losing 9-1.
Good job by Rosario. 1 ball, 1 strike on Carlos Lee.
Well, what I like about that block, and I know Jerry Weinstein's watching downstairs, he really got out and centered the ball to his body. There wasn't any of this trying to backhand the baseball.
Deep in the hole, Scudero sets his feet. And nice job by Marco Scudero. And on the receiving end, Todd Helton. So Lee is the second out of the inning. That'll bring up Chris Johnson.
Really nice play. Scudero's going to have to backhand this, really plant the back foot. You know, you might have used to see Troy maybe with a hop and a scoop, but I think with Scudero, better served to try to plant the back foot, get really balanced, and then air it out. And it's comforting to know you got a guy like Helton sitting over to first base picking everything.
Johnson has hit over 400 in his career against the Rockies. He takes a strike at the knees. That was probably the best fastball, George, thrown by Guthrie in the game in terms of location.
Yeah, put it on the knees, put it in a proper place. Ball down there. Hey, you know what? I forgot to say this. I ought to be, well, I didn't forget about it. I was just waiting for the right moment. Had my 5th grandchild tonight. A daughter, granddaughter.
Harper?
Jenny, Harper, Lou, Jenny, and Brian, and live in Arkansas. It gave me my 3rd grandchild out of that household. Easton Ella, and now Harper Lou.
Hey, congratulations.
Yeah, 9-pound baby girl.
That's awesome. Popo's
going to be busy at Toys R Us again.
I'm loving every minute of it. Fly ball right field. That puts down the inning. Middle of 3. The Rockies have 9 runs. 9-1 they lead. First, 4 in the second. Let's check our AT&T trivia question again. And the question is, what's the Rockies' record for grand slams in a single season? They've already hit 4 this year. Hernandez, Helt, and 2 for Kadire. They hit 8 in the World Series season of 07. Hit 5 in 94, 98, 2000, 02,
Doug,
and 09.
Did anybody hit multiple grand slams in 07? There was 8 of them. Just keep him busy.
Why do you do that to him?
Because he likes it. He really likes it. Oh, is that not pretty? That is just absolutely gorgeous.
Here's Guthrie. Takes inside against Reiner Cruz. The book is shut on Bud Norris. An inning and 2/3, 9 runs, all earned on 7 hits. He walked 3. One of those walks intentional, 2 punch-outs. That's a strike. So he had a 1.17 ERA, a major league starter best 1.17 ERA coming in on May 31st. He will not have the lowest ERA exiting the month of May.
By the way, Garrett Atkins hit 2 grand slams in 2007. And Garrett Atkins will be at the draft on Monday, representing the Colorado Rockies as the celebrity picker.
Really the celebrity announcer, because they don't get to pick.
No, they don't get to pick. You're right.
All the Rockies cross-checkers, scouting department been huddling all afternoon, continuing to put their board together. There have been a couple of prospects going through. A kid from Oklahoma yesterday, Georgia.
Ty Hensley, a hard-throwing right-hander.
Yeah, a young outfielder from Shreveport, Louisiana. Got to take BP. He looks, you know what, he's a good-looking kid, but I can't imagine how nervous he was, because he was hitting in the group with Cargo, Helt, and Giambi.
Yeah, Kobe Copeland's that outfielder you're talking about from out of Tennessee. Good little player. That's part of the process, too. How are you going to react throwing a bullpen in a major league ballpark, swinging the bat with some guys? Yeah, how mature are you?
Dexter's walked twice. You know, George, now that he's hitting back at the top of the lineup, he is really an intriguing player up there, because normally you think a guy that get on base naturally and has speed. Well, Dexter has speed. He has a high on base percentage because he walks a lot. He's got the average up to 281. But he also, with this newfound strength's on pace to hit 20+ home runs.
Well, let's just see how it all plays out. Well, obviously like the results we're looking at right now.
Here's the 1-1. It's off his foot. It's 1-2. So right now, of guys that have hit leadoff this year, Mike Aviles, former Royal, now at the Red Sox, has 8 home runs. Ian Desmond with 6 of his 8 home runs when he's leading off this year with Washington. Ian Kinsler, terrific player with Texas, 6 home runs. Jeter's got 5, Michael Bourne 5, Austin Jackson of Detroit has 5. Dexter has only hit the leadoff spot a few times, but if he can remain there, so a guy can start off a ball game like Ricky Henderson used to every once in a while.
I always think back to Bobby Bonds, because I really got rookie-ized, if you want to put it, in Montreal one day. He hit a home run, lead a game off, and came in and everybody's talking about breaking the record, and I said, what record was that? And he said, lead off home runs, because he's sitting next to me in the dugout. I'm talking about Barry's dad, Bobby. I said, well, whose record did you break? He goes, mine. Every time I hit one, I break it. And then, of course, Ricky Henderson came along, annihilated a lot of things in that leadoff spot.
Three and 2 on Dexter. 2 walks in the ball game. 2 runs scored. Pulled the string on him.
Tell you what, I can see why Cruz picked up Rule 5. You can see a little bit of wildness, comfortable wildness with his fastball, but it's been up to 95 miles an hour. He's showing a hard sweeping slider and then really good changeup to Dexter.
Cheyenne Frontier Day is coming up. Text Cheyenne for your chance to win Brad Paisley tickets, and you'll also be entered to win tickets potentially to other concerts during the daddy of them all, Championship Bull Riding.
Now that's a cowboy hat right there.
Yeah, that is.
I like that one.
Baseball games, VIP grand prize drawing as well. See, I bet you our cowboy knows that cowboy.
Might, never know.
Here's the 1-0 on Scudero.
Hey, tomorrow, if you're not doing anything at 8, why don't you swing by Sam's?
You buying?
Yeah, actually I am. Danny Montgomery and Mike Erickson's going to stop by and have breakfast with Frase, and we're having to discuss a little bit of what's going on with the draft tomorrow.
Oh, with a camera too, huh?
Yeah, the camera and microphones.
I saw DeMont and Mike earlier. This is a line drive to right. Bogusevic's going to make the catch. And Houston has a 1-2-3 inning. 9-1 Colorado as we go to the fourth.
Colorado Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by the Ford Explorer. Go. Do your exploring. Ford Explorer. Go further. By AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T Rethink Possible. By your Colorado Hyundai dealers and America's most fuel-efficient car company, Hyundai. And by Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies tickets by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Wells Fargo Bank. Member FDIC. And by CDOT. CDOT reminds you it's click it or ticket time. Don't risk a $65 fine. Take 2 seconds to buckle up seatbelts. Save lives. We go to the fourth inning. The Rockies trying to sweep the Astros. They lead 9-1. Don't know when the Rockies will see the Astros again after tonight. George, the Astros headed to that other league.
West versus West. This year the Rockies are playing the American League West, but it's going to take a while. They start playing that interdivisional stuff all year long. I won't see them for at least 3 or 4 years.
Bogusevic takes ball one and hits it on the ground fair. Help is not going to get Bogusevic. He lost the baseball. So Bogusevic reaches. Take a look at this play again.
Well, tough play. Todd's got a 2-step dive, hit right off the heel there. You know what, though? I think Guthrie may have hesitated coming off the mound. Bogusevic runs very well. When that hit off the glove, Todd recouped pretty quick and then threw the ball to first base, but I'm not sure he got there in time, obviously.
They haven't scored it yet. Now they just did. It's a base hit. Bogusevic's a big, fluid athlete, a converted pitcher.
See, I didn't think Guthrie broke on time, and that showed you in that replay there that kind of hesitated on the mound, watched the ball get hit to Todd Helton.
JD Martinez fouls it off.
A little bit of hesitation with some speed makes it tough.
Eric Young Jr., when he was in Double-A in the Texas League with Tulsa, Georgia, in your hometown, was playing against Bogusevic. Bogusevic, his pitcher's hit in that league, pitched a decent game against Tulsa, but he had 3 hits at the plate, single, a couple of doubles. This ball's well hit to left. This has a chance to get on out of here. The leap at the wall, the catch is made by Cargo. JD Martinez thought he hit it out.
Second time I've seen a ball hit the left field. Altuve hit one earlier. This time, Martinez, who went opposite field in his previous at bat for a home run. It had that sound, but it didn't have the carry. A good thing Cargo didn't give up on this thing. Came back, timed his leap a little bit, caught it right off of that wall, and be able to make the catch. On a Mike Shaw Subaru Supermo, you can see him watch the ball all the way into the glove. Good concentration.
Jason Castro singled. He's at the plate. So Eric Young went to somebody in the Astros affiliate in the Texas League and said, hey, tell Bogusevic, man, he swings the bat well. He said, well, we can't tell him. He just got sent out. He goes, where'd he get sent to? They sent him down. They want to convert him to being an outfielder.
Yeah. Guess what? Like your slider, decent. Fastball's a little weak. You're going to right field. Instead of, you know what? You can't hit the slider, so we're going to make you, a pitcher. You get to go the other way.
How's Brian Wright doing? Former second-round pick.
I don't know. It's a great question.
Rockies converted him.
And he had a great spring. 4 home runs, hit with a ton of power all the way through spring training. And then the last 3 days, call you in and go, hey, oh, by the way. Reich in college was up to 93, 94 as a pitcher.
One and one on Castro. Got a couple guys out of Stanford on this club. This ball in the air to right center field. Kadire. And it's off the wall. Kadire will have to chase it. Around third is Bogusevic. He's going to score. And going to third is Castro. Well, that ball really carried, didn't it?
Well, it's that area out there. I remember when I first came here 15 years ago, Vinny Castilla told me ball carries in right center on most nights, particularly as you get past about May 25th, the ball will really carry into right center. And I've always remembered that. This ball just barely kept from getting off the top of the wall to getting out of this ballpark. I mean, it was close.
Justin Maxwell's going to bat for Reiner Cruz. 9-2 the score.
Castro ran pretty well for a guy that's had knee surgery.
I know it's 9-2. There's 7 hits for Houston, and there's a couple of near misses. Martinez ball to the wall. Altuve hit one to deep left. So Guthrie has not exactly been sharp. And that is whistled down the right field line. Maxwell will drive in Castro. And Maxwell has a pinch hit RBI double.
Now you start to work back to the top of that lineup. It's pretty dangerous. Just 1 out so far in this inning. Top of the 4th in a 9-3 ball game. And Jim Wright will make the trip to the mound. A quick trip.
Yeah.
Normally Bob Apodaca, but Dak apparently under the weather. He's not here. Go out and visit with Guthrie for a few minutes.
Thought we saw Jimmy down in the bullpen earlier, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. I know we did whenever Guthrie was warming up.
Jim Wright was years ago the Rockies pitching coach for a period of time. Former big league pitcher. He had a lot of injuries. He had a ton of ability. Inside on Jordan Schaefer. Center field, Fowler moving back. Dexter makes the catch. Maxwell tags and moves up 90 feet. Altuve with 2 outs.
The warning track offers a unique view of the game and a great party package that includes food, soft drinks. So head on out there. Make sure you can rent that facility. Go over, watch guys in the bullpen. Say hi to Michael Kadire and other outfielders in right field while the game's going on. Fun little place to be.
Now Altuve with an RBI single, and it's 9-4. So Houston is chipping away. They started the inning with an 8-run deficit. And Guthrie, George, continues to get hit hard. Loud outs, and he's allowed 9 hits. Houston has more hits than the Rockies, as they did last night.
Yeah, they sure do. And I mean, that's exactly what I said a little while ago. There's no quitting this team. They're going to continue to swing the bat. They're not going to give up. You're going to have to bear down and stay to the plan to try to get some outs, keeping the ball down in the strike zone.
Lowry, a single and a double. Single to right, double to left. Guthrie's always been a guy that has struck out a little more than twice the number of hitters that have walked against him. You want at least a 2-to-1 ratio, and he's always been a good ground ball guy. This year, George, coming in 40 2/3 innings. He has struck out just 18, and he's walked 17. That's a 1-to-1 ratio.
Not what you're looking for at all. I mean, the walks aren't ridiculously high, but you'd think there'd be more strikeouts than walks.
And tonight he hasn't walked anybody, he hasn't punched anybody out.
Contact guy that works deep in ball games typically through his career. Yet, you know, that contact hasn't been very good. Here's a high fly ball. DJ LeMahieu will get underneath it, and the inning will end.
But 3 runs for the Astros on 4 hits. 9-4 the score. Cargo to lead it off. Astros 3-4-5 for the Rockies, and they'll face a new arm. Carlos Gonzalez will face David Carpenter. Last night he saw him in the 9th inning. He saw 1 pitch, and he almost hit it to Loveland.
Other than that, Carpenter was pretty good. Struck out a couple of guys, 3 as a matter of fact, over those 2 innings. The right-hander's 17 2/3 innings, a 181 whip, a little higher than the National League average of 138.
Now, Carney Lansford, before Cargo went up to bat in the 8th inning, he said, hey, this is how batting championships, batting titles are won. Of course, Cargo won one in 2010. He said, stay greedy. Of course, he was 3 for 4 at the time. So on the first pitch, he hit one 6 miles. When he came back into the dugout after his 3rd home run. Ball 1. Carney said, I was thinking maybe you'd throw out another single or something. I didn't know you were going to hit another one.
You know, he does a lot of things with the bat you don't really anticipate all the time. He really doesn't. I mean, it's just great talent. And I was talking earlier today to some other people, and I said, you know, here he is with Arizona, right? And they said, okay, let's get rid of him. He's not going to amount to anything. Goes to Oakland Athletics, hits 254. Young kid, tremendous talent. Everybody saw it. But it just wasn't translating to the big league level. Everybody in a rush to see this, and then all of a sudden trade made for with Matt Holliday. And, you know, all of a sudden you get this guy, and you go, whatever happened? Why did everybody else give up on this guy? You know, and they sent him down to AAA, and he just tore the cover off the ball and made the right timing to bring him to the big leagues. And the rest is history.
Yeah, look at all the things he's first in, by the way.
A little time for him to develop mentally and mature to be successful at this level of the game every day.
Remember Jim Tracy? He was asked, hey, how long are you going to stay with Gonzalez in the lineup a few years ago? And he said, I'm going to stay with him. It's paid off.
Well, just like it has with Dexter Fowler, too.
Yeah, 3-1. And Cargo hits a looper to shallow left. And, well, I thought he was going to make the catch. He couldn't. Martinez couldn't come up with it. And Cargo is at second. Well, when you're hot, you're hot.
Big swings.
You probably have to score this a double.
Well, you have to. You know what? They're starting so deep because of all of this. I think you have to score it as a double. And because their defense is so deep to protect against the long ball or balls into the gap. Long run from Martinez. Hits off of his thumb, squirts out of the glove, and it'll be a leadoff double. And another guy, oh, by the way, that has a single and a double coming to the plate, Michael Kadire. He's 33 RBIs for Kadire right now.
He's second on the club in ribbies. He's just so comfortable wherever you hit him. He's hit primarily 6th this year, but he's now 7 for 15 when he's hitting cleanup. On the days that Tulowitzki has not been available, and you're looking at the guy that's going to hit cleanup primarily over the next 2 weeks. Again, Tulowitzki placed on the disabled list with a left groin strain. Cargo takes off for third, and the throw's not going to get him. Carlos leading the club in every offensive category, just picked off his 8th stolen base of the year. He is yet to be caught.
Well, this ball club jumping back into this game and making it a 5-run ball game, you understand nobody out, nobody paying attention. I'll steal third base. Fly ball now gets that opportunity for another RBI for Michael Kadire.
Bring the infield in. I always tell a guy that trusts his arm, George, Jed Lowry is playing about 2 steps inside what you'd call double play depth. He's not on the grass. He's about 10 feet out on the dirt. Here's a good look at it.
So's the third baseman Johnson too. They're back.
You better have a big arm, especially when you have plus speed at third.
Depending on how hard the ball's hit, that's going to make the decision on the play at third base. With nobody out, ball hit to the left side, almost got a hold. Make sure the ball gets through before I take off. With no outs, only because you got Helton coming up next.
Both teams have been good with runners in scoring position in the series. And that will drop. Third RBI of the night for Kadire. He's 3 for 3. And Cargo trots home with the Rockies' 10th run. That's a guy that gets a lot of RBIs, George. That's the kind of hit. He's going to find a way to get it in play. Behind in the count. Got a runner at third. Infield's drawn in.
This game's easy. I mean, this is This is a fun time right now. Hard slider away, threw the bat at it, but because of bat speed, carries deep enough, infield's in, just what we talked about, and then all of a sudden, here you go.
Kadire, over his last 9 ball games, he's now 13 for 30, well over 400, and he's driven in 20 in his last 9. It's a 433 average.
What about Todd Helton? That RBI back in the first inning, 1,334 now. That breaks the tie with Duke Snider for 87th all time in the history of the game.
Todd bounces one to third. There's one. And on to first for a double play. For Colorado. Rosario drove in a run with a single to right in the second inning. Also stole a base, his first career theft. He went slider, but Carpenter George is proud of his fastball. He may challenge Rosario. David Zagao running up 96 miles an hour.
But we'll elevate it up here.
That slider again, 1-1.
One of the better bats I've seen Willeen take this year was that previous at bat where he got the ball down and away slider, and it was about a foot off the bag, and he just smoked it into right field.
Ball deep in the hole. Lowry on the move. Nice play. Jed Lowry with a terrific play to end the inning. Cargo, a leadoff double. He stole third, came home on the Kadire single.
The Astros as we go top 5. Take a look at Carlos Gonzalez. He loves Maglio Ordonez. He's from Venezuela, one of his heroes who's retiring Sunday in Detroit. He was a Tiger, of course, for a lot of his career. I asked Cargo if he's been able to communicate with Maglio.
I tweeted and I said that I feel very proud because, he represents our country. He represents every single one of us, and I'm really happy with the way he plays, and everybody should be proud of him.
And guys, Ordonez second in batting average and home runs all time for a Venezuelan-born player. Andres Galarraga first with 399 career home runs from that country. Let's go back upstairs, guys.
All right, Mark, thanks very much. El Caballo's at the plate. He gets moved off the plate by Jeremy Guthrie. It's 1-0. Maglio Ordonez had a terrific career. to third. And Pacheco throws out Carlos Lee, 1 out in the 5th inning. Rockies ahead 10-4. George, shout out to Tyler Matzik. Last night he made it 3 very good starts in a row. He went 8 innings, allowed only a run on 3 hits, 9 strikeouts, just 1 walk. So his last 3 starts, Fraze, just 5 total walks, covering 22 innings.
Much better than what it has been. They say the fastball command's a whole lot better. And I think the thing that you have to grow with, you can't, like, okay, let's move him to Tulsa. Let's do something with him quickly. Let the kid have some more success here. He had a very good earned run average, because prior to that, those outings, it was 39 walks and 50 innings. And that's where it has to get better for him, and I think it will. I think he's starting to gain confidence in his ability to throw his fastball over the plate, and it's not going to get hit. And one scout told me the other day, he set 92-95 the entire ball game and had very good command of his breaking ball. I mean, good for Tyler Matzik. This is a kid that I think feeling an awful lot of the pressure. $3.9 million signing bonus as a #1 draft pick. Got pushed into high A last year. Had really struggled a lot and walked a lot of batters even in Asheville the year before, but they thought he could handle it mentally. Had a tough time. Had to go back to the high school coach. Came to spring training with a whole new attitude this year. They did a really nice job with it. So it's getting more consistent with every single outing, and I'm really happy for him. He and a guy named Matthew Perk were the 2 top lefties coming out. Perk turned down $5 million on his first draft with the Texas Rangers. He signed a 3-year big league deal with the Washington Nationals last year as a 3rd-round pick.
1-2 outside. Tyler Matzik, George, over his last half dozen starts, 33 in the 3rd innings. He's allowed only 13 hits while striking out 34.
Kind of like the Dylan Bundy type numbers. The kid pitching with Baltimore right now.
2-2. Scudero will throw out Chris Johnson. Time for tonight's CenturyLink high-speed pitch. Fast speed and a low monthly price. Visit CenturyLink.com. Guthrie's touched 95. Bud Norris, who was not around long, 91. Norris gives up 9 runs in an inning and 2/3 on 7 hits. All of the runs earned. Brian Bogusevic in infield hit his last time up. Like a changeup of sorts. 1-0.
Pretty firm changeup at 88.
This is lifted to deep center field. Fowler calling off Cargo, makes the catch. A 1-2-3 inning for Guthrie, his first of the night. Middle 5, 10-4 Colorado. was like freeze cam. All 4 home runs from Carlos Gonzalez the last 2 days. You're just joining us. They came in 4 consecutive at bats to tie the major league record. 38th time it has occurred. The one tonight in his first at bat, a 3-run shot to left field. His next at bat, he was intentionally walked, shocking. And then he had a pop fly double last inning. He has scored 3 and driven in 3. He's 2 for 2 in that intentional walk, as his average creeping around that 330 mark. Xavier Cedeno, former draft pick of the Colorado Rockies, who was in the ball game yesterday, is on here in the 5th inning. Pacheco, LeMahieu, and Guthrie. Cedeno worked 1 inning last night, gave up a run.
Well, because of what Bud Norris went through, now it's all hands on deck. You just try to get through this ball game any way that they can.
Cedeno actually gave up Cargo's 2nd home run of the night. That's a base hit for Jordan Pacheco. He's 3 for 3.
Pacheco's average after that base hit, 311.
He's been given an opportunity and he has seized it. Tune in after the Rockies game on Saturday for an all-new Rockies All Access. Eye of Kadire. We'll take a look through the camera lens with the Rockies outfielder and talented photographer Michael Kadire. Enjoys shooting from the inside out the ballparks that he has visited throughout his outstanding major league career. We'll also learn a little bit more about his wonderful work ethic. Michael Kadire, Rockies All Access. Eye of Kadire, Saturday after the game. LeMahieu, a strikeout and a fly ball to right. That's a rocket. What a play by Altuve. And they'll get the force at second. Jose Altuve takes a base hit from DJ LeMahieu.
Yeah, I'm not sure how he made that play. I mean, they're shortened up for a double play. I get it. And that ball was just scorched right at him. I mean, he just got it one step and pick it.
He's just a really good player in a small package.
Mike Gallego with a little more pop.
Well, we love Gags, but this kid's going to hit for that's a good bunt by Guthrie. He's going to hit for a higher average than Gags hit. And when it came to defense, Mike was without parallel. 2 outs. LeMahieu in scoring position for Fowler. And you know what? We're going to see Mike Gallego shortly because the Oakland Athletics will be coming to town.
Yeah, his son Nico, a very accomplished infielder playing in the Arizona Diamondbacks. He's in Double-A this year. Went to UCLA for 3 years.
That's a strike. Dexter 2 walks and a strikeout. He has scored a pair of runs.
Cedeno and Dexter were both in Tulsa together, along with Chris Nelson. Eric Young Jr. was on that ball club.
How's Dean Espy doing, George? Dwayne
Very well.
Summer.
Actually was left behind and extended at start at spring training level. A junior sign out of UCLA, 17th round by the Kansas City Royals. His first ball game, actually had a night game, day game. He was 0 for 8. The next day went 3 for 5 and had a walk-off double. So things starting pretty good for him. He's in low A right now with the Kansas City Royal organization. Got him playing third. They got him playing first. They got him in the outfield, in left field.
He's got big pop.
He's got a chance to really do well in pro baseball. I know Dwayne is enjoying watching the process with his son.
And Cedeno strikes out his old friend Dexter Fowler. LeMahieu's left at second base. 5 innings complete. The Rockies leading by 6. Efficiency inning. Learn about energy efficiency and how to save money in your home by visiting responsiblebynature.com. 5th inning, Jeremy Guthrie had a 1-2-3 inning, first of the ninth. He got Carlos Lee, Chris Johnson on a left side ground ball as well. And then a fly ball to deep left center off the bat of Brian Bogasevic that was tracked down by Dexter Fowler. Our Excel Energy high efficiency inning. Bottom third of the Houston order in the 6th inning to face Guthrie. J.D. Martinez, who hit a solo home run in the 2nd and then flew out to the wall in left in the 4th inning.
Not very many pitches, 67 through 5. Ball hit up into the darkness in the sky. Not sure Scudero saw it and brought it come back and makes the play. One thing that Guthrie got in the habit of doing in the middle of this order a little bit when he had the big lead was to throw an awful lot of fastballs when it was 9-1. And the top of the 4th, he threw a 3 spot up there. Finally started to throw a few breaking balls, changed some eye levels a little bit, starting to sink the ball a little bit more. Able to get the leadoff man here in the 6th inning, as he did in the 5th inning. Trying to get that elusive 50th win of his career.
Castro a single and an RBI triple. He takes a strike.
Tulsa didn't play well tonight again. They got beat by, or getting beat by Frisco, I should say. The Double-A affiliate there.
And Nolan Arenado, though, George, hit a home run. Kent Mathis hit a home run.
Nolan's home run came in the 1st inning. Nick Schmidt, who had been the Texas League pitcher of the week last week, was roughed up in that outing against Frisco. Frisco's leading their division, and the Tulsa team is leading by 3 in their division. Over in Northwest Arkansas, Tulsa is able to put a couple of runs on the board here in the bottom of the 9th. Mathis home run.
Josh Rutledge had his first triple of the year in that ball game. Rutledge hitting .279 right now. Arenado .298 with The home run tonight, that's his 4th of the year.
Landry from Billings, Montana. Come on. I'm there every morning. I'm eating breakfast at Sam's. It's usually between 8 and 8:45. And that's not Sam, our home cameraman's house. That's Sam's restaurant at 15th and Curtis.
2-2, breaking ball, line drive at LeMahieu for the 2nd out of the inning.
I got a feeling this has to be Cedeno's first big league at bat. I would just guess. Doug scrambling, as he should be. By the way, former Rocky Brad Hopp was playing for the Frisco Ball Club because he lives there in the area, and he had Tommy John surgery just 8 months ago. So he is trying to rehab that elbow, and I think he's nearing the fact that it's just not working so far this year. He may consider going on the DL and trying to continue to rehab and build the arm strength back to where it once was.
He's nowhere near a year since surgery, and position players can come back usually a little quicker than pitchers, but still, it's...
Well, for power guys, when he was in Tulsa last week, we went fishing for about 4 hours with him, and Brad had been friends a long time, and he had a very difficult time, he tells me, with the power of the bat. Good for 1 or 2 throws a night, and that's about it. First at bat for Cedeno, but had a 205 lifetime average in the minor leagues as a starter.
7 straight retired by Guthrie, 10-4. To the bottom of the 6th inning, Scudero, Cargo, and Kadire to face Brandon Lyon. Wyoming and Idaho fans, today is the final day to enter to win the title of Ultimate Fan. Tell us why you're a fan and enter to win the Ultimate Fan experience, which will include travel and hotel for you and a guest to visit Denver and watch the Rockies in action from the Root Sports Suite. Breakfast with the on-air talent and a Root Sports prize pack. I know that young man. He plays with my little. That's Braden. You know that, George? That's Braden.
Wait, he plays with which one?
He plays with Gabe.
There you go. Braden's enjoying the ball game. You can always go down to the Rockies.
Good little player.
Go down to the Rockies clubhouse down here and buy whatever you want to. One of the dugout stores. They got everything you could ever want Rockies. I mean, everything.
So the veteran Brandon Lyon on the hill. Marco Scudero takes a slider for a strike. Scudero is 1 for 3. How about this about Brandon Lyon? And I wonder if you knew this going in. Brandon Lyon has the best. See, I jinxed him, and I'm glad. Scudero has just got deep. 2nd of the year. I'll say Brandon Lyon has the lowest ERA of any pitcher to work in this ballpark. 078 through 24 appearances. And on the second pitch of the night, Marco Scutero, of all people, hits one about 10 rows up and left, make it 11-4.
Cutter just hanging right up in the middle of the strike zone for him. Every hitter's dream. Backup slider that hangs. Scutero's second home run, 9th RBI. Had that Rockies lead 11-4.
Inside on Cargo. So Cargo's average, George, is up to 330. He began the day in 10th place in the National League, 323. And this will pop up that Altuve's waiting on. Well, they finally retired Carlos Gonzalez. Took him a while. 4 hits last night, 2 more hits and an intentional walk tonight. 1 out. Kadire will come up. Kadire, perfect tonight. Single and a run scored in the first. 2-run double and a run scored in the second. An RBI single in the fourth. Jose Altuve. Helton will come up, 2 outs. Will you make it to home safely? Don't get called down with a seatbelt ticket. CDOT reminds you it's click it or ticket time, so double your chance of surviving a crash and avoid a $65 fine. Be sure to share your seatbelt survival story with CDOT on Facebook at Colorado DOT. Helton a double in the first. Double in the first, produced Todd's 26th RBI of the year. 1-1, that's in there, 1-2. He's got a little 7-game hitting streak going now. 321 average during the stretch. 2-2. Rockies had extra batting practice this afternoon. You say, boy, did they really need it after 29 runs the first 3 games? Well, there were a bunch of guys out here, including the guy at the plate, Todd Helton. Not a bad little cutter he's got. That's what got in on the hands of Cargo. Saw him a lot. Helton did when Lyon was pitching for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Todd does such a good job of waiting, keeping the hands back.
Well, what he's really working on too, his hands are a little bit higher, and he's gotten into a little bit of a drop of the hands forward and then coming back. So what he's working on is really just throwing the hands right to the baseball, keeping that back elbow close to the body, not letting it get flying out a little bit to where he works under the baseball. When he's hitting lasers in the left center like he did in the first inning, things are all good with Todd.
Way in, 3-2.
Follow the Rockies on your phone with MLB.@Bat12 app, featuring pitch tracking highlights and a whole lot more.
ball 4. So Helton reaches with 2 outs in front of Rosario. Lane's 1 for 3. Had a hit taken away by Lowry his last at bat. Shortstop went deep in the hole. Todd's going to move up.
He's got a stolen base this year. He's got a triple this year. He's got wheels this year. Hard breaking ball. That's what you got to get a lot to throwing, and that's where you got to be on your toes if you are Todd Helton, because with Rosario at the plate, you will see the breaking ball.
That froze him. He knew it. So Lyons strikes out Rosario. In the inning, Marco Scudero gets in on the act. A big fly. 11-4 Colorado. Lexus look back. Brought to you by Cooney Lexus. Carlos Gonzalez in the first. 4 straight at bats with a home run, tying the major league record. This one came with 2 aboard. Second inning, JD Martinez made it 5-1 with an opposite field home run. But the Rockies said that's okay. We'll produce some more. Michael Kadire, who has 3 ribbies in the game, doubles home 2. And then Marco Scudero with a home run last inning. Rockies leading 11-4. They have 12 hits in the ballgame. Again, that's brought to you by Cooney Lexus, where luxury has an address, South Broadway in Littleton.
By the way, Guthrie just 76 pitches in the game. Yep, 9 hits and 4 runs. This Jeremy Guthrie working deep into the ball games as he has in the past with the Baltimore Orioles. But early on, it didn't look pretty. 4 runs were given up in the first 4 innings, looking a little bit like Christian Friedrich yesterday, where Friedrich battled on through it, threw up 3 zeros and got a W.
And Christian got stronger, and that's what Jeremy Guthrie looks like he's doing. He's retired 7 in a row. There were a lot of hits early, George, and quite honestly, there were a lot of loud outs.
Yeah, he hit hard. But I think he was trying to live too much with his fastball, Drew. I don't think he was taking advantage and using the soft stuff as he has here lately in this game.
Schaefer fouls it off, 0-2. It remains. Lefty's hitting .301 against Guthrie coming in. Guthrie trying to win for the first time at Coors Field. 0-2 at .992 ERA at Coors. They say with Matt Kemp, George, and we'll talk more about this over the weekend. Kemp's going to be out at least a month at the re-aggravation of that hamstring injury is worse than the first time around.
Well, that's where I think, obviously, I think that that Ned Coletti's going to be digging around, looking to try to find a veteran guy to fill the gap for 3 weeks. It might not be an expensive guy. He's not going to fill that kind of gap, obviously.
Tough chance with the bare hand. Pacheco safe.
I'll tell you what, that was a heck of a play.
That was a tremendous play just to stab it with the bare hand.
Well, you got great speed. Jordan Schaefer leading off. And then you've got to be able to charge this baseball. Look how far deep he is. He's back here on the back side. So it's going to be hit off the end of the bat or fisted by Schaefer, and then he's going to take off, but an accurate throw too. Helton tried to cheat a little bit at first base, come off and meet the baseball to get the call for Pacheco's fine work at third.
Altuve, an RBI single in the 4th. 1 for 3 tonight. The Rockies with Troy Tulowitzki and placing him on the disabled list today. They waited till a couple hours before game time. He went for an MRI today. Chris Nelson was brought in case they made the DL move, but they wanted to make sure that it was not going to be a day-to-day thing, and they wanted to err ultimately on the side of caution, so they don't have a situation where Tulowitzki sits down for 2, 3, 4 days and then re-aggravates it. Now you're dealing with a longer period of time where you're without him.
And I don't care if you were in first place right now. It's May. And if you push it and you tear it completely off the bone, you got to go have surgery. Who is it that just got hurt? Who is it that's having surgery right now? It's going to be out for a while. That's the last thing you want to have happen.
I'm trying to think along with you, George.
I'm trying to think of the guy's name. I mean, it's a good player. He's an everyday player, but he tore it so bad that he's going to be out. And he's going to have surgery. It's 6 to 8 weeks.
I'll think about
Mark
it.
Stout might have it.
Yeah.
What do you think? You think Stout? He has everything.
I was trying to think about that. I heard you talking about Matt Kemp, but I wanted to mention that Josh Outman's got to be happy that he's not here, because Outman's going to start tomorrow against the Dodgers. He's taking Jamie Moyer's spot. I talked to Outman today. People may not know he was drafted by the Phillies, and in 2007, when Moyer was there for the first time, he told me that Moyer took himself and about 4 other pitchers aside and really talked to them about how to stay in the major league. So he kind of has a mixed feelings, if you will, about the start coming up on Friday night. We'll see what happens, but I know that you guys are going to be up here at the Camarena Loft doing the game tomorrow night, enjoying it up here with the fans, correct?
Yeah, and I heard you're bringing us all kinds of things to eat.
Well, there's everything you want up here. Just put your order in, Frage.
Well, that's a good idea, but they took the nachos out.
They did?
Yeah.
I don't know what's up here now. The fruit kebabs? They're a big seller now.
Mark, here's the problem. Whatever we order, Marino eats before we can dine
Doug
ourselves.
gets to it first?
Yes.
But I'm interested in seeing Outman pitch tomorrow. I know he's going to be on a pitch count, but it should be interesting. He's taking Moyer's spot, and that was kind of an interesting story that he told me.
Yeah, he'll be on a significant pitch count. He's going to probably piggyback with Torres, you would think. Probably in the 50 to 60 pitch range, which 3, maybe 4 if he's real efficient.
Matt Reynolds up throwing for the Rockies in their bullpen with a couple of base hits here. We start off things in the 7th inning. Jerry Weinstein down in the bullpen acting as the bullpen coach. As Jim Wright moved to the dugout as the pitching coach for this game.
The word is Bob Apodaca attending to a family matter.
He was here early in the ball game. I mean, I saw him earlier in the day, I should say.
Nobody out, 2 singles in the 7th inning by Schaefer and Altuve. 2-2 on Jed Lowry. And a base hit that's going to load the bases for Houston. And that'll bring up the cleanup hitter, Carlos Lee.
And Jim Wright, I think, will go out and have a visit with him again, and to make sure that they are going to, you got to remember what you're doing here. You got to think about patterns you're getting into. You're in an 11-4 ball game, but one swing, we got a 3-run game. It's more or less of what Jim Wright's saying too. Make your pitches. Stay to your patterns. Don't get off these. Their ball club struggled an awful lot. Bases loaded, 163 so far. Carlos Lee, and hope it continues this way, because typically not this way with an RBI guy, but he's hit just 200 with the bases loaded this year.
For 3. Lee had a single back in the 1st inning. Look at Carlos Lee's glance at
you think it was grumpy?
Timmons.
Did he have a grumpy look?
Here are the 3 runners. Schaefer, Altuve, and Lowry. Misses. It's 2-1. Bounce to 3rd. There's 1 on the first double play. Rockies will take that and concede a run. 11-5, 2 are out. Look, Pacheco's so much more decisive when the ball's hitting his direction now.
Yeah, you really like to see it. No hesitation. Footwork's much better. He's putting his feet underneath him, making strong throws, accurate throws. No hesitation here at all. He knows he has speed at 3rd, so I'm going to go get the double play. It's an 11-4 ball game. Okay, it's 11-5 ball game. You see encouragement from Todd Helton too. He recognizes somebody that's doing a pretty good job with this.
That's a foul ball.
Yeah, he had ricocheted off the check swing.
Chris Johnson 0 for 3 tonight. Hitting .355 over his last 10. You can see. Get the
those are ones that really hurt you as a catcher when they're those deflection things. You think you're going to catch the baseball and you don't catch it and it deflects off. Catch you on a knee or top of the thigh.
One and two on Johnson. In the air to right field. Playable for Kadire. He's got it. And all in all, Guthrie, who had a bases loaded, nobody out situation, does very nicely. He gives up just a run. 11-5 Colorado. Stretch time. From the ballpark tonight, Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies tickets today by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Wells Fargo Bank, member FDIC. Fernando Rodriguez is the new pitcher. That's 5 out of the pen. Bud Norris was the starter. He went an inning and 2/3. So Rodriguez, the 6th pitcher utilized tonight by Brad Mills, trying not to kill his bullpen for the weekend.
Tough thing to do, too. Yeah, trying to milk his way through this thing as you go into the bottom of the 7th inning. Jordan Pacheco is going to lead it off.
And the Astros will be heading home to begin a 6-game homestand. They'll take on the Reds over the weekend. The Cardinals come to town. Jeremy Guthrie got the handshake, so he goes 7 innings. Gives up 5 runs on 12 hits. Didn't walk anybody. Struck out just 1. And he got he pitched out of a jam last inning, but he was strong in the 5th and 6th inning. And it looks like he's on his way to his first Coors Field victory. Jordan Pacheco, a double, a single, and a single. He's driven in a couple of runs, 3 for 3 tonight. Guthrie on his way, perhaps, George, as you mentioned earlier as well, to his 50th career win.
Good for him.
It's a nice little milestone. Here's the 1-1 to Jordan. He's one of those guys, he doesn't swing and miss much at all. I mean, we talked about him not striking out a lot. You don't even see him have a swing where the ball's not at least fouled off.
He doesn't look totally fooled. Is the best way to put that. I mean, he is on a lot of pitches. I'm really excited for this young man to get this opportunity and to capitalize on this opportunity.
Well, he's quiet at the plate, George, and he's balanced at the plate. And he has a great deal of confidence, slapping on his right hip to tell himself to stay back. Stay tall on the backside. You hear hitters repeat that frequently. Two. And he got frozen there on a breaking ball. So Pacheco, a strikeout victim to begin the 7th inning. That'll bring up DJ LeMahieu.
Well, it's just a backup slider. That could trick a lot of hitters. Pacheco just taps the plate, taps his helmet, and heads to the dugout.
LeMahieu 0 for 3. Though he's hit the ball hard twice. Line drive to right. And he was robbed of a hit by Jose Altuve in the 5th inning. This is the quietest night in baseball, George, I can remember. 3 games tonight throughout baseball.
Yeah, I can't. It's been a while.
There's Junior getting ready. He'll hit for Guthrie. Milwaukee leading the Dodgers 2-1 at Dodger Stadium in the 3rd. And earlier, Detroit won at Fenway 7-3. Ball and a strike on LeMahieu. You know who was out taking batting practice today, George?
Johnny.
That's right, Johnny Herrera.
Yeah.
Johnny went on the let's see what his DL date was. There's a base hit to right. Nobody's going to rob LeMahieu there. That's why you hit over 300 in the Springs and has hit for a high average throughout his minor league career. A pretty good swing. Inside out approach.
Mike Shaw, Subaru Supermo here on a ball down. Man, you talk about down. Go down and get it. Nice job of hitting right there.
5:23. So George Johnny's got another 7 days before he can come off the disabled list.
It's good to see him doing the activities more than anything. Matt Reynolds continues to throw down the Rockies bullpen. By the way, it's the 4th time this year that the Rocky starter has gone 7 innings without a walk. Ocasio's done it twice. Alex White 1 time.
Junior had a good at bat off the bench yesterday, behind in the count. Hit a sharp single through the 5-6 hole. And he'd eventually come around and score on a Dexter Fowler 3-run home run. 11-5 Colorado. Two-strike count on Young. Strikeout at Junior, 2 outs, and that'll bring up Dexter. side on Dexter. You know what's amazing about this homestand so far, George? The Rockies an outstanding chance to sweep the Astros. They're up 11-5 in the 7th. Yet their ERA coming into this ball game for their starters was close to 8.5.
Starting ERA, I'll tell you what it was, 8.57.
Actually 8.47.
Doug corrected that, by the way.
He did?
Yeah, it's here. He just handed me this note.
All right, 8.47. But look at the pen.
Yeah,
ERA,
0.82.
George. And it's been updated to 7.88. The work tonight at Jeremy Guthrie. So you have an ERA basically of 8, which is awful, and yet you may go to 4-0. Line drive, base hit. LeMahieu will go to third, and Dexter has his first knock of the night, though he's been on 3 times.
Both times he walked in the first and second innings, he came around to score.
Coming up on the Toyota postgame show, Toyota Talk will continue. Keep in mind, you'll have a chance to win a $500 gas card. Marco Scutaro, a single, a ground out, a line out, and a home run in the 6th inning. His 2nd home run of the year. First and third, 2 outs. You don't suppose they'd walk him to load the bases
Probably
to get to
not.
Gonzalez?
No, probably not. No.
Not a good baseball move?
Probably not.
Dexter takes off.
Hanging slider, inner half, right down the left field line for Mr. Scutaro. His 2nd of the season.
That's going to count as a stolen base, George. That's one of those things. If you're at Petco Park, that's a no-no to run this late with a 6-run lead. But at Coors Field, the rules are different.
Yeah, a lot of managers will tell you once you get beyond a grand slam, 6-run rule beyond a grand slam, typically wouldn't run. But the way this has gone and the way people have swung the bats, I'm sure that Brad Mills right now, he's not happy with anything that's going on in this 4-game series. The only game they had a chance to win, Brett Myers came in on on Monday and blew that save. One of the few he's blown this year.
1-2 on Scutaro. Rockies trying to do something they have not done all year tonight. That's win 4 in a row. They had a 3-game winning streak. April 17th through the 20th. LeMahieu at third, Fowler at second with 2 outs.
Good guy on the mound tomorrow night for the Dodgers, Chris Capuano. What a turnaround that's been. 7-1, 214 earned run average. Ted Lilly had to go on the DL. Otherwise, that tandem of late 30s guys were combined 12-2.
How about that?
12-2.
Lilly had to go on the shelf with a shoulder ailment. You never like to hear that for a pitcher. Matt Kemp will be out at least a month. Another hamstring strain. Fernando Rodriguez, the 2-2. 3-2 on Scutaro. Cargo looming. So another 3-2 pitch from Marco Scudero. This is popped up, playable. It's right around home plate. And Castro makes the catch, and that ends the inning. Couple of hits, couple men left. The Rockies 11, the Astros 5. We move on to the 8th. Five over the Astros, top of the 8th inning. Who wants tacos? Fans, the Rockies have scored 7 runs again. Don't forget to go to your participating Colorado Taco Bell locations tomorrow between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special. Feed your Rockies fever only at Taco Bell. So Jeremy Guthrie goes 7 innings, and now Matt Reynolds will take over. Brian Bogusevic will be the first up. Bogusevic is 1 for 3, swung on and missed. Guthrie 7 innings, allowed 5 runs, all of them earned on a dozen hits. Did not walk anybody, and he struck out just 1. Crowd of 31,799. 1 and 2.
First 20,000 on June 1st are going to receive a Michael Kadire t-shirt courtesy of Root Sports. That's right, Root Sports, Michael Kadire teaming up to give 20,000 shirts away. Dodgers are going to be in town on June 1st. Get your tickets now for that series with the Dodgers, June 1st, 2nd, and 3rd.
Fouled off left field line. This one's going to move in with the fans. It remains a 2-2 count on Bogusevic. George, tomorrow we mentioned Houston's heading back home. Guess who's throwing out the first pitch tomorrow with the Reds in town? for the Astros.
In Houston?
Yeah.
Not Roger Clemens. He's busy.
Yeah, it will not be Roger. That's a nasty curveball. Well, they're celebrating their 50th anniversary.
Hold on.
All year.
Hold on. Nolan Ryan.
No, not. That's a good guess, but Nolan Ryan's probably busy also.
Mike Scott. Well, they go back for that.
Of course. I agree with you. I wonder if they'll have Ryan. That's a great.
Mike Scott.
That's a great. You're on the. Listen, you're getting warm. It's not Mike
I'm sure
Scott.
Jose Cruz has already done it.
I don't know the answer to that. I'm sure if he hasn't, he will be involved. Don't cheat. You're cheating now. You're cheating.
I threw out some really good names.
Well, you're forgetting one big name. J.R. Richard.
Yeah, well, and you know what? I'm really happy for J.R. Richards, and I want to say why, folks. And it's been well publicized. After the stroke, was found living underneath a bridge in the Houston area, desolate, broke. The BATS program, ran by Joe Garagiola Sr., was able to get him back into an apartment, get him back upright, doing the things that needed to be done with his life, and it's all good now for J.R. Richards, and I'm happy to see that the BATS program and J.R.'s doing well. One of the most feared right-handed pitchers ever to put on a uniform. When you went to Houston, you had Nolan Ryan and J.R. Richards back to back, and you had Joe Niekro sometimes sandwiched in between. It wasn't fun to go to Houston and play baseball.
Mark Stout's got a little more on this story. J.D. Martinez with a 1-2 count. Mark?
Frage, did you know that you had your first decision in the big leagues in a game against J.R. Richard?
No, I didn't. I thought I got a save against Atlanta. What did I do? Get a loss against Houston or something?
It was an L, but that was in 1978. So that was the first time you ever had a decision in the big leagues, and I think he struck out like 12 or 13 in that game. And people forget he struck out more than...
Mark, I only struck out like 1 or 2. I appreciate I appreciate you saying that, but that's not what happened.
But what was it like watching him pitch? Because he struck out 300 in a season a couple of times.
That's a bad question, Mark. To watch him pitch, it was more like what you heard go to the home plate area. Yeah, it went quickly. And then the Astrodome was worse. I mean, with he and Nolan Ryan, Nolan would grunt, and then you'd hear a pop into the catcher's mitt. And with JR at 6'8", he'd just reach in, and he was so close to the home plate area and had one of the nastiest sliders anybody that I've seen around in a long time, maybe second to Tom Seavers and Ron Guidry. So, I mean, he was phenomenal to watch, Mark. And, I think it's great that baseball did what they did and got this guy back right where he belongs. And that's upright in an apartment and doing well. And going to be celebrated tomorrow in Houston.
Hey, Drew, they're wearing the rainbow jerseys.
Didn't like those. They look like pajamas.
Nothing better. A lot of wins in those rainbow jerseys, though. But it helps when you have Nolan and the guys. And
they had good players in those rainbow jerseys.
Yeah, they did.
They look like softball unis. Wasn't a big fan of those uniforms.
Yeah, that was 75 to like 86, right?
Yeah, they wore them a long time.
Yeah.
They had some good players. Cesar Cedeno. You mentioned Jose Cruz in left. Strike 3. Good inning. Matt Reynolds. He punches out the side. He just froze Jason Castro. We'll move to the bottom of the 8th inning. Got an at bat for Cargo coming up. 11-5 Rockies.
Let's look at Chevy's Dare to Compare. The Chevy Equinox, 32 highway miles per gallon, outperforms its competitors. Chevy made for Colorado. Carlos Gonzalez has 4 multi-home run games this year. That's more than anybody in baseball. Beltran's got 3, and then a slew of good-looking players with 2, including Josh Hamilton, who had 4 homers in 1 game this season. Cargo tonight, a 3-run home run in the first. That made it a home run in 4 straight at bats that tied the major league record. And an intentional walk, a double, and a stolen base in the 4th. He popped out, finally made it out in the 6th inning. He'll face Wesley Wright here in the 8th. Just below the knees, ball 1.
Pretty good job working out of the bullpen. He'll throw that hard slider a couple of different directions. Cargo base hit in the first game of the doubleheader, I believe, against Wright. May have been in the second game, but I hit a Monday against him on a hard slider. We get another one here on the base hit right back up the middle.
They ought to keep him in the lineup, George. Keep batting him 3rd.
I think they ought to renegotiate.
And you want to be his agent?
Absolutely, I do.
We'll get Scott on the line.
Everything he does. Phenomenal play.
And the thing about him is he hits lefties about as well as he hits righties. Just off the plate on Kadire, who quietly has had a big ball game. 3 for 4, 3 RBIs. Two and up. Dyer's got the average up to 282 with the 3 knocks tonight. It's interesting, George. You got Torres, Carlos Torres, acting as if he's going to throw the 9th inning. The only reason I see that as a little bit of a surprise is that you got to figure he's going to be involved tomorrow with Outman on a 50-pitch limit.
Well, I'm sure he will be. You know, I'm sure him, Rogers will both be kind of long guys out of the bullpen tomorrow. I think also that you'll see some other guys being involved in the ball game, depending on the flow of the game and how it goes.
Helton is 1 for 3, doubled in a run back in the first. He's also walked. Nobody out, 2 on, and this ball is hit pretty well to left. Gathered in by Martinez. I'll bring up Willeen Rosario. Jason Giambi saying nice swing. These guys spent a lot of time conversing together in the dugout, on the field, in the clubhouse. Jimmy Wright visiting with Giambi. Helton and Giambi locker right next to one another. Pretty much this ball smacked to center field, and reaching up making the catch is Schaefer. 2 outs. Can't hit it much harder than that. In fact, you can't hit it much harder than the last 2 outs. Checo will come to the plate.
A chance to drive in some more runs. He's had a couple so far. Got a fastball up out over the plate. Slash this thing into dead center field. Set Schaefer on his high horse to make the play. Time to leap right at the end to make a catch in center field.
Pacheco, RBI double, stole a base in the first, RBI single in the second, singled in the fifth, caught looking in the seventh inning, 3 for 4. The Rockies get 3 more outs, George. The National League competition between these two franchises will close, with Houston having won 80 times and the Rockies 79.
Josh Renicky started throwing down in the Rockies bullpen too. I mean, Torres is heating up pretty good, but I think maybe it's just to get loose, see how it feels for an inning, and then shut her down.
Wesley Wright with the 1-1. That's a strike, 1 and 2.
Slider's his out pitch. That's the pitch he'll go to when ahead in the count in 1-2 against left-handers. A lot of times with right-handers, if he does it, he'll try to backdoor to go on that back foot. And there it was.
Altuve still going to get Pacheco. He hung in there. That's all for the Rockies in the 8th inning. Cargo a base hit, Kadire a walk. They're left on board. 11-5 Colorado as we go to the 9th. Lines, find our fares online only at southwest.com. Buys 5-Hour Energy. 5-Hour Energy fixes tired fast. Buy Jack in the Box. Right now at Jack in the Box, you can try the new Chipotle Chicken Club Combo for just $4.99 plus tax. And by CDOT. CDOT reminds you it's click it or ticket time. Don't risk a $65 fine. Take 2 seconds to buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. Another beautiful night at the old ballpark of 20th and Blake. And the Rockies have produced big numbers offensively. Again, they're up 11-5, 3 outs from a 4-game sweep, Joel Platt.
Yes, sir. And you know what? There was 4, the record books. Carlos Gonzalez, and I know you guys have been talking about it. I mean, right now he's the hottest player in baseball. But that home run in the first, his 4th consecutive home run in as many at-bats, or excuse me, plate appearances. That's a major league record. We'll try to have more perspective on that because he's phenomenal. Plus, clean sweep. Not only the sweep of the Houston Astros, but Michael Kadire in the cleanup spot. 3 hits, 3 RBIs. Pretty good. What do you think, Drew?
I like both those guys quite a bit, so you can talk about them all you want throughout the Toyota postgame show. Joel, thanks, man. We'll talk to you in a few. Josh Renicky will indeed throw the 9th inning, so looks like Torres, George, just getting a little tune-up work in preparation for work tomorrow.
Yeah, not a bad thing to do either. Go out and throw the baseball, get loose a little bit, kind of get prepared for that.
Matt Downs will be the pinch hitter. It's 9-1-2. Breaking ball misses. Downs, an outstanding guy, normally off the bench. This year he's 0 for 12.
Now, Josh Renicky, I tell you what he has been able to accomplish this year and be able to turn things around and become a 7th, 8th inning guy with the lead. It was before 5th or 6th, give me out of an inning with men in traffic and then come back and try to change things again for you and help you get those next 2 innings till you could save the bullpen a little bit. Now all of a sudden he's that plus side guy coming out of the bullpen along with Matt Belisle. And a lot of that when they sent Rex Brothers down to AAA, that's when they made the move on this for him, for Renicky, to be able to get this opportunity. And boy, he's ran with it. I tell you what, tough kid.
2-1 on downs. He fouls it off. Another guy that's thrown the ball well out of the bullpen and has assumed different roles. And that's Matt Reynolds. Reynolds struck out the side last inning. Over his last 8 appearances, left-handed hitters are 3 for 18. And he has 7 strikeouts. Bouncer up the middle, a base hit. That ends an 0 for 16 slide from Matt Downs, his first pinch hit as well of the year.
Let's go back and look at this since May 16th, exactly what Renicky's done, because it has been special, folks. 9 innings covering 9 games, 1 run allowed, it wasn't earned. 6 strikeouts, 6 walks, but the opposition just 219. Getting big outs with runners in scoring position, double plays with runners in scoring position. It's been fun to watch.
Double play ball. Scudero will take it himself, throws out Schaefer at first, and the Rockies are 1 out away from shaking hands.
That's never a bad thing. Walk out after a game, shake a few hands, folks. It's nice. Celebrate as a team versus privately with the family when you go 1 for 3 and you lose a game, or 2 for 4 and you're pretty happy you got your couple of hits. Sad you lost the game, though, but you keep that celebration to yourself.
Altuve's 2 for 4 tonight. Slider for a strike. Dodgers are in tomorrow for a 3-game set. If the Rockies can continue their winning ways. They have broken out the bats over the last 4 days in a big way. He had 3 hits last night. He's got another 3 tonight.
That's why he's hitting 317 now after the base hit.
Jed Lowry, he has 3 hits tonight, 3 for 4. Guthrie on the plus side, 7 innings, 5 runs, a dozen hits. He didn't walk anybody, struck out 1. Tough night for Bud Norris, who had the lowest ERA in the big leagues among starting pitchers in the month of May coming in, a 1.17 ERA. Moving up to second base is Altuve. He lasted an inning and 2/3, got 5 outs, gave up 9 runs on 7 hits, walked 3. One of those was intentional. He had a couple of punch outs. So Bud Norris and Jeremy Guthrie, the pitchers of record. 1 strike pitch up coming to Lowry. Off the outside corner, 1-1. Well, George, based on a team that lost 106 times last year, you have to tip your cap to Brad Mills. Looks like this organization's turning a corner. They have some intriguing young players. Jonathan Singleton tearing up the Texas League. He's their top prospect, slugging first baseman, hits for power and average.
Things are changing in the organization, man. Last year was not a good baseball team, getting a little better now.
Yeah, but the Rockies have just swept them. They win it 11-5 tonight. Guthrie gets his first win at Coors Field. He's 3-3 overall. Norris takes the loss. He's 5-2. The Rockies, their first 4-game sweep since they swept the Mets at Citi Field last April. Their first Coors Field 4-game sweep since September of 2009 when they took 4 from the Cincinnati Reds. They are slugging the baseball. 40 runs in that 4-game series. And guess who led the way? Our Jimmy John's delivery of the game, brought to you by Jimmy John's, America's favorite sandwich delivery guys. Here's your favorite left fielder. First at bat of the night, 3-run home run. That made it a home run in a major league time, 4 straight ABs. Cargo would go on to have a 3-hit night. He is some kind of hot. Visit JimmyJohns.com to find a location near you. Another big victory for the Rockies. They sweep the Astros 4 straight. They win it 11-5 tonight. We invite you to stick around. The Toyota postgame show is next.